Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to HIMediaTV. I'm your host, Evan from HIMediaTV, and welcome back to the I Can't Shut Up Unless You Tell Me to radio show. You just heard, firstly, The Groupie, and then Bloodletting, both by Inez Segovia on her new album, Will You Get Sick of Me, Volume 1, released this past January this year. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. We got a quick show for you today. Let us get right into it. We're going to do some gaming news first. Let's get into it. So, Ashes of Creation. We talked about this particular thing yesterday on High Media Headlines, so feel free to go check that out. The Ashes of Creation buyers are now seeking refunds. So just to get people caught up who are unaware, Ashes of Creation was a Kickstarter MMO that probably has gotten the furthest of other Kickstarter MMOs. And even, Pirate Software played a lot of it back when he was still at his heyday and didn't fall the fuck off. And it looked mildly promising, all things considered. Unfortunately, due to reasons that I discussed in the video, it's being canceled. And now the Access buyers are seeking refunds, trying desperately to get back their money, which I don't know if that's gonna happen. Here's the thing, right? It's like Kickstarter games, especially MMOs, are notorious for falling flat. Because at the end of the day, an MMO is a type of game that the moment-to-moment gameplay kind of sucks ass. Even there are games that where it's a little bit more fun. Excuse me. What have you? But these games are... Hold on, what was the fucking button I had for it? I don't remember. Hold on. I was trying to get the picture up. I'm sorry. I'm not a good Twitch streamer. There we go. There it is. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what people think when they support a Kickstarter for an MMO, but I hope these backers are able to get their refunds. But it's also you fell for it again award. It's it's just so patently obvious that listen, $3.3 million to make an MMO on a scale of a World of Warcraft, because not only are you having to build a game an MMO and have all the infrastructure made to make that work, not only do you have to do that, you also have to develop more content from the start, unlike so many others, right? It's why did WoW was able to get away with not having as much content that it would have say now or whatever, because it came onto the scene and it offered things mechanically different than EverQuest and Ultima Online before it, right? It was a more fun game attached to a chat room, and it was more mechanically, and it was just a lot more user friendly and a more welcoming by and large. And then let's think about, say, RuneScape, for example, was able to get away with not having to do as much, because the actual mechanics of the game, the actual art style, the actual writing and how everything is delivered is a lot simpler comparatively, and doesn't require as much time, money, and manpower to build everything. Final Fantasy XIV, that was backed by Square Enix, multi-million-dollar company. Elder Scrolls Online, that was backed by ZeniMax, multi-million-dollar company. And they pumped legitimate money into them from the get-go to get them going. And $3.3 million for all of your costs is not going to result in a, game that will be able to stand the test of time, unless you're getting a crap ton of thick microtransactions, things of that nature. It's just it's just unfortunate. And I feel bad for the backers, but it's also a case of, here's your "you fell for it again" award. You know what I mean? I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on. Enjoy Bounce Back from Villainous Beats here on the I Can't Shut Up Unless You Tell Me to radio show on HIMediaTV. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that last song you heard was Melancholy of the Pumpkin King by Scroop. Let's move on to more of the song. Trump says federal government should take over state elections. No. Not happening. So I want to just say for the record, a big reason why it's been very difficult, despite many of the presidents we've had over the years that have been, had quite despotic leanings, John Adams comes to mind, Andrew Jackson, and Ronald Reagan, yes, Donald Trump. All of the, the big reason why they weren't able to, why it's been hard for like a president to sort of take over, and like invalidate like election results and all this different stuff, and is primarily because states are in charge of, elections. The federal government, can ensure safety and all this stuff, but like they can't actually administer these elections. It's all done at the state level. And that a big reason why America has always been fairly resilient up until recently to, dictatorship and backsliding democracy and all that stuff is the decentralization of how our election happens. It's a big reason why the right wing and the powers that be have invested so much time and money into making, a uniparty in the sense of like turning the Republicans at all levels all over the country, in line with, the Beltway, the national plan. That is a big, it is a project that's been working on for 30-40 odd years, and this is kind of the result. It's because they can't just get a bunch of their cronies in government, which would have been significantly easier to do, have said cronies vote to, change election rules in such a way that would favor people for them permanently, and then we're stuck in a oligarchy. Like we to be fair, we do currently live in an actual oligarchy, but like it would have been a lot less subversive, it would have been a lot less subtle, and it would have been, they would have got it done a lot sooner. So Trump saying the federal, thankfully the Constitution can't do that. And, the fact that a lot of members of the Republican Party, younger members who are planning on being in office past the, Trump's inevitable death. I mean, this man literally shat his pants in the middle of a press conference. I need to cover that shit. Holy hell. Whatever. Point is that I'm not saying he's not going to try. I'm not saying he wouldn't make an effort to do so. I'm just saying it ain't going to work in the long term. I think that even though there are a ton of Trump sycophants and MAGA loyalists in government, in state governments and local governments all over this country, I think at the end of the day, there is enough people who care more about their future, like post-Trump in politics, than they do for sucking Trump's teats. That's just my 2 cents. Anyways. You're listening to the I Can't Shut Up radio show here on HIMediaTV. Next up, you're going to have Win, Lose, or Die by Villainous Beats.
VVLLNSS. VVLLNNSS.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for today's radio show. Thank you guys so very much for listening. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'm going to have the clips for today's show out pretty damn soon. Keep an eye out on the podcasts and stuff. I'm going to be having High Media headlines out soon later today. And I am going to be streaming tonight. I do need to get that done. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the I Can't Shut Up radio show, unless you tell me to radio show here on HIMediaTV. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I have a neurology appointment I got to go to. Deuces.